Man, what's up, everybody? Let's turn this around. We are walking. Get some people in here, and it's a perfect day out here. It's supposed to get warm. I guess it's going to be warm all over the south and northeast. All right. So I think I left my Wi-Fi setting on, and that messes with it. So we got 4 people in here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We, it's funny. I have a lot to talk about, but I don't even know where to begin. With nobody in here, it's hard to bounce off ideas or whatever, but there's a bunny. Talk about bunny rabbits. You see him right there. Right next to that car. Hunting for wabbits. Anybody in the... Oh, nobody's chatting yet, so maybe we'll just keep this video down. Anyways, how about you just enjoy the silence about that? We'll just do that. It's a nice pickup. Had an email from my credit card company telling me that they were ready to loan me $45,000 for a new car, or toward a new car. Not for a new car, towards a new car. And all I'm thinking is, I have a lot of friends in and out of trucking that their rent just jumped up to the $300 to $400 a month. Wife was telling me that our utility bill, it went down this month, but for the year we're up 50%. Remember that polar vortex that we had a couple of winters ago? And heating bills went through the roof. And now it's pretty much a countrywide heat wave going on. It's barely June. So utilities are going to get stupid. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing brownouts or rolling blackouts. Kind of like what happens in third world countries, That's the world we live in right now. So Memorial Day, well, over the whole weekend I was in this foul mood, just watching good friends struggle with their business, and watching people deal with a lot of mental hardships and physical hardships and financial hardships. I had a pretty negative outlook in life, and so I was kind of hard to live with for a couple of days. And then it rubbed off on my wife, who acquired that mood Sunday and Monday when I was just getting over it. And so recognizing that, I said, you know what we ought to do? We ought to go to this little coffee place. Look, gangster graffiti. So we ought to go to this coffee place, which is right next to this walking trail. Grab ourselves a couple of good coffees, which cost $12 after tip. Don't worry, it wasn't Starbucks. And we went on a walk. It was so enjoyable. It lifted both of our spirits up, which is what was needed. Yes. These people have done a pretty good job. Hello, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Of their yard. Done a good job of the yard. So my advice is, if you're feeling stressed, get off the damn phone, stop watching my live feed, and go for a walk. Robin. Birds. You know, it's tough when you're driving 11 hours a day just to make ends meet. I get it. You know, it's hard when the truck stops are full and people are driving a million miles an hour in the parking lot. You know, they're in 8th gear trying to get around. You want to, you know, in the summertime, do you really want to walk in a parking lot that's all urine stained and smelling, and avoiding puddles? And better have your safety vest on, or else someone's gonna kill you with their truck. I know it's tough, but find a way. The benefits are going to be good for you. So here's what I've got planned. At some point, I'm going to go live on the big channel and do a reaction video to one of my old videos. I think it'll be cool. Is no one chatting in here? There we go. Man, I wasn't seeing the chat. Sorry, everybody. Greg Zimmer, good morning. Yeah, Wi-Fi gets you every time. CDN, good morning, Steve. Looks like a great day. It is a great day out here. I'm sorry, people. Flatbed trucker, what's up? Josh the vegan. Looks like an old Buick LeSabre you just passed. Yep. Yeah, I guess I wasn't seeing the chat, CDN. I had my walk at 6:30 a.m. this morning with the cats. Good deal. I've been walking with our cats too. I go outside out in the back and they want me to hang out with them in the backyard. Reefer, good morning. Let's be fair, Dar. The cats weren't walking. They spoiled, right? It's getting me walking though. I walk when I shut down when I can. I spent last night in a brand new truck stop. That's great for walking. Yeah. You know, it's funny. Like there's like the Flying J here in Springfield is, I remember just within 3 months of that place opening, man, that place became a crap hole pretty quickly. The Loves in Rolla, same thing. You know, Loves has been pretty good about building all these new truck stops. I actually, you know, Pilot, Flying J are the last places I like being at. But, you know, I don't know. Like there's a speedway in London, Ohio that I go to over the TA or over the Pilot because there's always parking there. The parking lot looks like the moon. It's got the surface of the moon going on. But you can always find, I've showed up there at 2 in the morning and have parking. Speaking of which, have you guys noticed a downtick of the amount of trucks out on the, you know, Chucky met up with me last month and he reserved a spot because Stratford TA is usually pretty full, you know, by the time he was going to get there. And he gets there and he's the only one in the reserved spot. There was plenty of parking. And I thought that was strange. It looked like a holiday weekend. But it wasn't. So are you guys seeing that as well? This truck stop will eventually get overtaken by the overflow from the Pilot across the street, then it'll get ruined like all the others. Yeah, I agree. I wonder what this is. Someone left some computer programs out here. Probably some Windows Vista stuff. Screw yard sales, we'll just put it on the curb and hope someone steals it. I had my had a friend of mine tell me, you know, he lives out in the country and he put he had a couple of tires that were good, but he had no use for them, so he didn't want to pay to dispose of them. So what he did was he puts them out front and puts free on them. Those things sat there for the whole week. And then a friend of his said, put a price on it. So we put like $50 a piece on each tire. Within 2 days, they were gone. Someone had stolen them. Like No one wanted the tires until they figured out it had a value. Like if that guy puts, you know, $50 a piece on those programs, someone will take them and they'll try to pawn them. Oh, these are worth $50. No, they're not. They don't have any garbage cans anywhere, even on the fuel islands. That's a recipe for disaster right there. That's crazy, as Pale Rider would say. Check out this truck, guys. These branches. Somebody's smoking cigarettes on their front porch. What you think of that pickup truck? That's a recipe for disaster too. That basketball goal. Easily topple over on top of that car. Wake up with the smashed window. Hey Dar, look, fossilized kitty foots. Look at that. That's a mudding truck, it is. Mr. Ozarks, just right in the Ozark, good morning. Gotta get ready to roll out, Steve. Just wanted to pop in and say, hey, I'm delivering and then I'm heading home to ponder the future. LOL. Later. Well, enjoy your home time. Don't ponder too much. If you overthink it, it's going to be a problem. Sometimes you just gotta let it rip, right? This market is tough for sure. I've only got one truck to dispatch this week. He picked up his load yesterday. So I've been focusing more on the safety stuff. You know, I'm always focused on it, but I've been able to kind of get into the micros of it and made a few calls to some drivers and we had a good chat. And you know, that's the thing. If you know, that's something that a lot of office personnel don't understand is if drivers are struggling, you know, last thing you want to do is, you know, like, you know, let's say you have a driver who's been out for like 3 months straight, barely paying his bills. Now, regardless of how that person got there, that's not important in this scenario. And then, you know, this probably happens at big companies like Landstar, Schneider. You know, you're barely making ends meet, and you know the rates suck, and you're seeing company drivers pick up your stuff that you normally run, and then human resources calls you to tell you how much of a butthole you are. It probably doesn't do too well. And that's the challenges of talking with drivers that are struggling. Is You know, let's say you're on the broker boards, right? And you've made 20 phone calls, and half the brokers don't know what they're talking about, and the other half, you know, you can barely understand, and none of them knew what their loads were, and they weren't coming up on the rates. You've got the wife at home mad because you haven't been able to be home. And and you have somebody in the office calling you, telling you that you're doing stuff wrong. That's a dynamic that a lot of people can't handle, because no one knows how to empathize anymore. So how do you handle that from a human resources perspective? You know, that's what truck drivers do. They sit there and you're in your box, right? I was guilty of this. You're in your box and it's all about you and your boss. That Qualcomm, they don't see your struggles. They don't know what you're dealing with, and they call and tell you, you know, that you're basically screwed on a bunch of things. It's enough to make you go, you know what? Take this truck and shove it. A lot of Snyder guys right now are Snyder finance guys, and at Snyder are turning their trucks in droves. I keep hearing report after report. You know, think about this. You're barely making it, and Steve Berger can probably relate, right? You're barely making it over there. You're seeing all your freight, going over to the company side, and you go to pick up a trailer that a company guy just dropped, and it's missing tires or it's missing wheels. And I've seen pictures of guys being assigned a trailer that are literally missing wheels. Meanwhile, that $1,600 a week payment is knocking at your door. And you know, Schneider's posting loads that are like 50 to 60 cents a mile. That's not an exaggeration. Schneider actually had a load paying what was it? $455 for 900 miles, something like that. They literally had a load on the board for 48 cents a mile. Now, I thought it was a typo. But then I got a second email where it went from 456 to 455. It wasn't a partial. It said it was 43,000 and change. I was tempted to call Snyder and say, dude, what's up with this? You can come out of Florida for at least $1. Jeez, this was coming out of Maryland. I agree. If you're in the truck too long, chasing money without taking a minute to evaluate your business is hard. Having someone to help bring a different perspective, viewpoint is important. And that's very true. So Now, as a new carrier, like your first 5 trucks, it's important for them to be runners. Your insurance is through the roof. You're taking a lot of risk. And you know, but then once you get past 10, or you can get on a mileage deal like what we have, then you can kind of relax on it. So the guy delivered a little John Deere thing, some hay and a bucket, and what's in that bag. I don't know if it was never on the board. It was an email. It was a Schneider freight power load. And normally I'm not bashing Schneider, because I've gotten some good rates. Hell, I got $2.25 a mile out of Phoenix from them one time, which is really good for van. But 48 cents a mile? Nah. I understand the laws of supply and demand. I understand all that. Just, you know. But that's the world we live in. When people said that 2020 rates would never happen again, well, here we are. Except all your stuff is more expensive. On the flip side, I had an issue with a carrier submitting a poorly signed POD. I was explaining how it's driver's job to get the person's name who signed. He said my drivers are brown, East Indian, not treated the same as white drivers. That's a gut check of how it can be for some drivers. Yeah, that is a leaving on the dock situation. Everybody's playing games with the money. You know, every now and then there'll be a driver, myself included, that had issues with a decent POD. And when you put it to them, that's how you get paid. Usually that solves that problem. Not always, but usually. Anybody need a desk? It's actually not too bad. It's solid. Man, that's a solid desk. Give it a paint job and might be a good thing. Get your hay in when the sun shines, right? Well, I'm bad about that too at times. Or was. That was the sacrifice I made, though. Things were going on at home that I needed to be home for, and so I did the best in my area. I took advantage of the rates, but in a different way. When everybody was chasing those $10,000 loads out in California, I was grabbing $1,000 a day just staying around here. It was working. Kept miles off my truck. Kept me in a groove, which is what I prefer. I was making $5,000 to $7,000 a week gross, doing hardly nothing. That way I can concentrate on what I needed to do at home and concentrate on the safety manager duties. That's what I did. And then dispatch service was created. Greg Zimmer became my best friend. And he's happy with his money. So I guess I'm doing okay. The other drivers have come and go. Because it's tough dealing with this market. I like the landscaping of this house. Pretty simple. No trees to dodge in the middle of the yard. Mowing that lawn must be just a breeze. Steak. I wonder how many Ring cameras have got me on them. Like, oh, hey hon, the weird guy with the beard with the selfie sticks walking again. Leave him alone, Janice. Let's get on the health thing for a minute. I'm holding steady at about 275. I've fasted 60 days in a row. I've hit my goal all but 3 days. So the app I use, there's a goal. Like if you set it for 18 hours and you do 17 hours and 50 minutes, it doesn't, it says you don't hit that goal. It doesn't say that, but it doesn't become a green check mark. But it tells you good job, and all that stuff. Memorial Day, I minimized as much as I could with the holiday eating, but I still had probably a little bit of stuff that's not great for you. Then that's where the fasting kicks in. I have not been able to do a 40-hour fast again. Oh, another bunny. I can't time things right. The wife is doing a really good job of cooking stuff that I like to eat. As far as like every now and then say, okay, we're having pasta tonight, figure it out. Or we're having sandwiches tonight, that kind of thing. So I'll cook for myself. But that's been happening a lot less. Someone broke their taillight. But I still feel pretty good. I can definitely tell differences when I eat processed meat versus fresh meat. I can definitely tell the difference when I eat certain vegetables. These vegetables are trying to kill you, man. They are. That's good news for Pell Rider. He eats vegetables. These drivers that come and go didn't have patience to see the long-term benefits or had other reasons, no different than new broker agents give too easy when they can't get past the gatekeeper. That's true. Every street has a Janice. Spill burner. Mrs. A, all the bunnies are on the other end of the street away from Bob's house. That is true. The goal of freight brokerage is it is hard to acquire customers, but in the long residual income that pays for the hard work and persistence when you started and made no money for months. What if the vegetables are only trying to make you stronger? That's true. It could be. I think everybody reacts differently. Plants have never been my friend. Ever. I do feel pretty good after eating broccoli and cauliflower, though. I do like that. Here's the old big green. Mean green is what we've called it. Take a look at my new brake chamber. Shiny. So that's the thing. So these tires are new. No flat spots. These are new. The spring hangers are new. The airbags are new. That one brake chamber's new. There's another one that's not too old. The other probably are on the verge of needing replaced. Not a whole lot of rust on this frame. Oh yeah, that's new. New airlines. Probably should replace these sometime soon. I tried replacing those, but I had to give up. They had to be cut off the old ones. Wheels are in good shape. They need polished. And there's a bunch of stuff underneath the hood there. I'll set this up here. Make sure it don't fall down. There we go. Sorry. No, I'm ugly. Don't do that. I don't know why I've been able to do this before. That's funny. There. Vegetables are for bunnies and bunnies are delicious. There you go. And one brake chamber goes, better watch the rest. Yeah, I know. Am I selling the truck? You buying there, Trucker's Table? I doubt it. Hey, Trucker's Table, did you like my Landstar video? I did that like a month ago on the members page. It's got me some views too. People love seeing Landstar in the title. Like Pale Rider did that interview with Trucker's Table a couple weeks ago, and that video is outperforming his other live feeds. But as far as selling this truck, no. I mean, if a generous cash offer was given to me, it's possible I might take it, but that price is probably still too high for most people, especially in this market. I've already got like 8 people that want my trailer. So yeah, you don't want a DEF truck, I know. Neither do I, because that's what's going to take a dump on this truck. I love this truck, but I don't love the DPF system. But don't worry, if you have a non-DPF truck, more likely it's got crappy fuel mileage, and government will take care of that. No, No, I'm never going to put a driver in this truck, ever. It's never going to happen. Because there's not enough money to maintain this truck and pay a driver unless I was doing Specialized or something like that. I know people that have tried, and there's only a couple of people I actually would trust to drive this truck. And one of them's retired, and the other one's already got his own truck. So, yeah, I'm never going to be that guy. There's too much risk. There's too much liability. What's up, Jeff? And no, I like my truck. It was fun to be out on the road yet the other day, despite me almost setting my brakes on fire. There are parts of it that I do miss, and I had a thing to do yesterday, and I've got something to do tonight. But who knows? I might look at a weekend run. There was actually a pretty decent paying load, a couple loads around here from one of the click and goes. Couple of rates were actually looking pretty good, despite that one Schneider load. Good morning, Jason. Are you doing what I'm doing, keeping as a backup plan? Yes. I could always get in this truck and make money, but I've decided to take the last year and build the dispatch service, which we've done pretty good. I don't have anybody I'm dispatching this week except for one truck because everybody's taking some time off. I was up to 5 last week, and I actually enjoy that. I actually really do, because I've streamlined it to where I'm not making 30 phone calls for each truck. And once I figure out what the driver wants and what the driver needs, that's sometimes that's the hard part, is what a driver wants and what a driver needs can be two different things. And when I see their needs more than they do, then that's where some conflict can come in. Mrs. A should get her CDL. We've actually talked about that, but the problem with that is no one would hire her. And if I was to get my own authority and put her on, insurance would be stupid high. And this is a nice truck, but it's not a team truck, right? I wouldn't want to. I mean, if the missus and I went to travel the country in a truck, it would be a Volvo 860. It wouldn't be no 680 or something. It would have to be a fairly large bunk. I think she would enjoy it for the first, I don't know, 6 months. And then after that, she'd be like, you know what? This is yours. Plus, I'm not quite ready to give up steady income. Maybe someday it won't matter as much, right? I think what I would rather do with the wife is to be one of those RV couples and do that, or do like what a Trucker Review channel has going on. Do something like that. But that. So DIY, he did a video of this guy who had the Buffalo Bills truck at Matt's. Ridiculous amount of money in that truck. Ridiculous. And something like that is overkill. But one of those ARI 120-inch sleepers, I think would be kind of cool. I think she'd enjoy that. Yeah, once we don't need any income at all. How about a Volvo 7.8? Are you trying to sell your truck? I know somebody that's selling a Conestoga trailer. If anybody's interested, get a hold of me. Yeah, once we don't need any income at all, right? Yeah, 780 would be good, but that's an older truck, right? So, no old trucks, man. If you're going to travel the country, man. Like, oh, you've got your 780 still. Okay, I remember now. You haven't sold that? No, I like my truck. I like driving. I like sunrises and sunsets, but you know, but I'm happy at home too. So if you can get a decent offer, that's going to get tougher and tougher as the market does what it does. I know somebody that could have sold his truck for 80 grand. The dealership was offering that. He didn't take it. A couple of months ago, he decided he was going to try to sell it to the dealer. Won't even answer his phone calls now. And the truck was wrecked after that. I remember TJ Jones, I've got his hat right here. He offered me 86 for the whole package. I probably couldn't even get half that now. This truck RV is still driving throughout. Thought that they went in the poultry business. Yeah, I don't know. He's been mesmerized by the whole TikTok deal. So I don't think I've seen any videos posted from him, and the stuff I have seen posted was all like based around their chicken farm, which, you know, they're these preppers. I think once the wife's health went downhill, I think they calmed down on the trucking thing. So sell everything and come on up. Oh man, that's exactly what Just Right in the Ozarks did. They completely sold everything and moved here to good old Missouri. Just in time too, because some of the stuff in Minnesota, I wouldn't want to live there. Their politics. But you gonna give us a place to stay if we sell everything there, Dave? No, we just sold that other house, and we just kind of, you guys, part of it went towards the garage, which I've been documenting, right? But oh, hey Jeff, I'm going to talk to you here in a little bit after this live feed. A couple of things I want to talk to you about. Nothing bad, nothing urgent. Just touching base. I haven't seen you or heard you for a while. Had a good conversation with Pale Rider yesterday. What was wrong with your truck? It didn't burn up, did it? No, it was, I'll show you, Mr. Wilson. So what was happening is, this is why I didn't catch it. So we had to replace that brake chamber. And what had happened was the, actually I could probably sit this on the tire. Yeah, there we go. It's not too bad. It wasn't releasing completely, so the tires weren't dragging. So when I pull out of here, I look for tire drag, and so I don't see it. So we get on the main artery here to go to I-44, and my shifting is just horrible. It's like, man, I can't seem to get the shifting right. It was just slight, right? Just slight. I'm like, it's probably because I haven't driven in a minute, right? I get on 44, everything seems good. Some four-wheeler comes in, he's honking his horn, he's waving at me, he's pointing behind me. I'm like, huh, I must be dragging one of my airlines or something, right? So I pull over, and all of a sudden, smoke is just billowing out. I couldn't see the smoke because you're going forward, and the wind was like I couldn't see it. Smoke is billowing off this brake, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't even go get fuel without an issue, right? So I throw some water on it, limp it to the TA, they looked at and said the spring inside the brake chamber had broken, and so it wasn't releasing all the way. You got lucky. So got that replaced $300 later, and that's when I realized what I should have been doing instead of just looking for tire drag, making sure that the truck's rolling freely. So little tip that I learned is go forward a little bit, push the clutch in, see if the truck will roll on its own. You know, kind of the same thing you would check if you're in the winter time to see if any of your brakes are frozen. And I didn't do that, so bad on me. So that's what happened, Mr. Wilson. The politics everywhere are wishy-washy. 2 available lots here. Not the amount of money, man. We literally, like, for the price of one home, for most, we could have 3 of how we live. You know, we paid 80 grand for this house, and we could probably get 120 for it now. And we're only 4 years from paying it off. So, and we looked at the principal, and there wasn't, you know, I asked Jeff some advice. He goes, if you're just paying principal and no interest, then it's probably not going to save you money to pay it off early. So better just keep that money in the bank, and that's what we did. So, but other than that, next thing with the garage is the electrical. We got to get that looked at. So, but you have a lovely place. You're a little bit further outside of town than I'd want to be, but if crap hits the fan, you're in a good spot. So I'm always thinking of that. Always. I'm always thinking of that, folks. So, but anyways, we're almost to an hour. We'll get to an hour and we'll end this. But no, I like my truck. That's the thing. It needs a really good cleaning on the inside. The only custom thing I've ever added were a couple of stickers and these lights. These are green. I bought those at the Joplin Petro and put them on. They look pretty cool at night. Matches the color of the truck, you know, that kind of thing. Buy a motor coach. Prices have dropped like a rock. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine about that because he was telling me the same thing. Yeah, I imagine they're gonna. What I'd like to do is I'd like to buy a teardrop, or something I could pull with an F-150, and have that on the ready. So when the family wants to go camping, I can still have, you know, electric hookup and have my CPAP machine, and, you know, not be sleeping on the ground. I think that's what I'd like to do. 45 foot, 600 horse Integra. What's that run? Too much money for me. I don't like spending money. I really don't. I'm not like so frugal that I'm putting, you know, ketchup and water for tomato soup. I'm not that guy, but at the same time, like, friend was telling me, dude, you got to go see Metallica. You got to go see it. It's worth, you know, I've seen them twice, and you gotta, I'm like, man, I can't pay those ticket prices. I just can't. I just won't. Like, if I went up to my wife and said, hey, I'm going to spend $1,200 on one ticket, I'm like, she would tell you, like, yeah, so make sure you pack your bags, too. Thomas is spending the big money on that RV. He is. yeah, so I'm now the nosebleed seats are about 115, but nosebleed seats in that arena is probably going to be like the TV screen of seeing the band members is going to be like that big. Well, hell, I can watch it on my phone, you know. And then I'm going to have to buy merch. And so their trucks are probably, you know, their shirts are probably like expensive. Wash that truck. It does need a wash. I need the wheels polished, to be honest with you. Make it look good. But here, I'll show you guys something else I've done. Here, let's do this. So I did a short of the roots, right? And what I did was I pulled these, I took an axe. Now, what's interesting is, so this tree here has got a ton of roots. They're a pain in the butt. And one of them went all the way over here. And was right there. So the mower would hit it. That gate would hit it. And it was a pain in the butt. So I went to Harbor Freight, bought a big axe and a little axe, and I chopped it out. Now, it's kind of funny when you walk out of a hardware store with an axe on your shoulder, people leave you alone. It's pretty neat. But that was my project last weekend. Nothing like getting some aggression out, some pent-up energy on taking out some roots, and that's what I did. So I thought it'd be a good, funny short to play that dumb Sepultura song and show the roots that I cut out. And then I filled it with dirt. I need to put grass seed there, so it's a nice little patch there. Oh, Thomas Wilson told me that 465 South is going to be closed for 21 days there in Indy. So that's going to be fun. Seems like they're rebuilding the entire infrastructure in Indianapolis. So, you know, that stretch of 70 east of Indy has always been a bear. I look at it almost every day and see that it's clogged up. So that's going to be fun. Wash that truck, shine those rims. Well, the only good truck wash in the area damaged my truck, so I don't use them. There is a mobile guy though, but I don't know, it'll be all right. Both sides on the bottom side, all traffic routed through Indy. And you know what else they're gonna do, Mr. Wilson? They are gonna rake up the money on that 50-mile-per-hour zone. They're gonna be swimming in money. They're gonna be aggressive about that. Because they need the money. They're already doing it, yep. So, but anyways, we're at an hour. Look for some members only on the big channel, or members first, I guess. It probably, I'm gonna do a live reaction on the regular channel as a regular video of The Struggle Is Real. We're going to talk about some health stuff. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Maybe possibly for the weekend live. And look for more random content on this channel. I appreciate everybody. If you have any questions about like trucking, we've got available trailers. And we've got some guys that are doing pretty good. You putt. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm the guy doing 50 in the lane that I need to be in, annoying everybody when I go through Indy. You know, it would look pretty bad if the safety manager at Like Trucking got a speeding ticket. probably, right? Jeff would be like, yeah, so Steve, yeah, I think we're gonna, you know, change things around a little bit. Deservedly so, right? So with that being said, thanks for watching. Do something for yourself that's because you're worth it. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screw. Later.